Very good morning to all of you. Honorable Speaker of the Kerala Assembly, fellow speakers of this session, I will briefly summarize what was transacted in yesterday's session on nationalism and secularism. The session began with an address by Sri Binoy Vishwam MP. He began his speech placing secularism as the founding stone of the nation and the Constitution. He reminded us that Constitution is not a mere bunch of papers, but an embodiment of the struggles of the people of our country, which resulted in the Indian freedom. He saw in the Constitution not only the vision of great leaders such as Gandhiji, Nehru and Ambedkar, but also the sacrifices and dreams of workers, peasants and the common people. The right to have a decent life, irrespective of faith, he viewed as the crux of secularism. He reminded us that some have invented and interpreted a phrase called cultural nationalism, which places religious identity as cornerstone of our nation. Hinduism, the religious identity that is projected by some, is in itself pluralist, holding a rainbow of thoughts from Charvaka's materialist philosophy to many dogmatic views. Even that diversity is not recognized by the protagonists of cultural nationalism. To top it up, these champions fail to see the diversity of language, dialects, climate, dress, and even food. Their inspiration seems to be the retrograde works like Bunch of Thoughts, which call upon Indians to look up to Germany, which at one time took race as basis of the nationalism. We have only lessons of blood and politics of hatred from Nazi Germany to learn. We must shun these, and the young generation should zealously guard the secularism of this country. This was followed by a very colorful speech by Swami Agnivesh, who began his talk with a multi-religious chant and with solutions to all prophets. He reminded us that organized religion is the bane of humanity. He briefly sketched his own childhood to argue the point. His higher education lit up scientific temper and spirit of inquiry in him, and he realized that a community which believes in superstitions and miracles could not be called secular. He shared his feeling that more than a mandir, he feels that the mysterious cell which makes the human body is more divine. In truth, love, compassion and justice, if truth, love, compassion and justice are practiced, no religion is required. Though for voting and wedding one has to wait till 18 years of age, faith is chosen in an uninformed way. That is what he feels. He criticized the gender discrimination in faith. He also criticized subsidy for religious melas. He reminded youth that the ultimate arbitrator of truth is one's own rationality and reasoning power. He asked youth to hold aloft 3 Ds: doubt, debate, and dissent. Finally, he suggested youth to be their own guru, create their own religion, and write your own scripture and practice it. If each person creates 10 commandments for themselves to guide their own life with scientific temper, then dharma would prevail and so would secularism. This was in short the summary of the two speeches. It was followed up by 3 brief speeches by student members, and we have come to the conclusion, or the consensus was very evident, that secularism in its purest form has to be the cornerstone of nationalism, and these are embodied for us in the Constitution. Thank you very much.